All right, cool. We are live, and it wants me to update, so I'm not going to do that. All right.
Don't do it. It's a scam.
It is, right?
They're going to take all your cryptos,
Oh no.
all your bored apes.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to be talking about Night in the City, two films, 1950 and 95?
92.
92. Thank you.
Yes.
Also, thank you to Famra, our sponsor. Please download the Famra app. It's a lot of fun. Mike, on the Famra app, where do you want to go? We're in director's chairs right now.
Oh man, I want to go somewhere really tight. Let's see what we got. Let's teleport. Let's take ourselves to something befitting our night in the city.
Yeah, good call. We're gonna
Oh,
maybe have a dinner date because that's like
the
the bar.
classic, yeah, the classic dinner date. I mean, I also. Oh, fuck. What's the Halloween bridge? This isn't really.
It's pretty cool.
Have you done this already?
During Halloween, yeah.
You know what?
I like it
Fuck
here.
it.
I like it here.
Halloween.
Yeah, I
Halloween.
like it
There
here.
we go.
Yeah.
We're doing a Halloween show.
Cool. I like it. Yeah. So everyone, thank you to our sponsors at Famra. Download the Famra app. It is free. It's a lot of fun. You can watch us hang out on a spooky Halloween bridge right now.
If I touch
My
myself,
guy is giving a
if I
thumbs
touch
up.
myself, all my ancestors are ashamed of me. No. Oh, whoa!
He did a
If I touch
backflip.
myself, he does a backflip. That's sick.
I'm dancing over here.
You can have all sorts of fun on Famra. You know, it isn't just for Halloween times. It can be for regular times too.
That's right. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Mike, for doing this with me, man. It's always a good time. I enjoy this our little time, 1 hour a week, and it's fantastic, man. I thank you.
I love movie nights with friends. So this
Yes.
is a pleasure to me.
You mentioned besides Night in the City, a third possible option was Uncut Gems because it kind of was familiar or similar to the Night in the City films, and I just started watching it a little bit ago, so I didn't finish it. I'm maybe halfway
Okay.
through the movie. I'm probably through the first half.
Okay.
But I definitely feel that comparison.
It's weird because when I was watching, I rewatched the 1950 version of Night in the City not long ago on the Criterion streaming platform.
Right.
They have a collection of 20th Century Fox noir films, and Night in the City was on there. And I hadn't seen that since I was probably like 15 years old, but I remembered it being very grim. But as I watched this kind of manic Richard Widmark performance, he goes through these motions, and you can tell it's the same kind of mania. He's almost like tap dancing through these bad scenes and digging himself in deeper and deeper and deeper into this cockamamie scheme of his, and he just can't fucking help it. And and then you get to the ending, and almost at the finish line, he gets fucking unceremoniously killed. I was kind of thinking to myself, oh man, I bet the Safdie brothers watched this movie really fucking closely.
Yeah,
because it's such a stressful energy.
It is. Yeah, my wife, she didn't see any of the Night in the Cities. I watched those today at work while working. But and I felt this like manic energy all day long, and I've been like very stressed trying to package up 3,000 vinyl records, and it's just like I'm just struggling for time. There's not enough time. There's too much to do, and then I'm watching these movies on top of that while I'm busy, and then the movie I'm watching, the guy's really busy too. There's so much shit going on, and so my wife, today I was like, we got to watch Uncut Gems when we get home. And it's not even a time to finish the film, but we got to watch as much as possible. She's like, yeah, cool, let's do that. And she's like, this is really stressful. She's like, I feel like I'm on cocaine. And like, I'm like, yes, that is a good comparison. Is like a cocaine film. It's just like going.
It feels super cokey. I think you could also draw some comparisons between the mania of these films and the 2008 Werner Herzog directed Bad Lieutenant.
I was
the way that this guy just keeps digging himself in deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're kind of in the situation where there's just no bottom. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse for this guy.
I was gonna say that towards the end of the night of our show, because the Robert De Niro 90s version I feel like, he if he would have just been a cop, he would have been a bad lieutenant, and he could have won at the end.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
totally, 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 totally. It's so wacky. It could have been I don't know. It could have been any number of again, it's like there's only so many stories that you can
Yeah,
tell. There's only so
right.
many tales, and it's like this story of this hustler. Perhaps we should back up for a
Yeah,
sec,
let's go
but
to the 50s.
for the uninitiated, Night in the City is the story of Harry Fabian. And Widmark is also named Harry Fabian, right?
Right, right, and it's based on the novel, apparently,
Yeah,
right?
based on a novel. The original one follows it pretty closely. He's an American pimp living in London, and he just
Mhm.
can't catch a break. And he's just a really, I don't know. It's sad to see people who are addicted to gambling who can never win.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
that's a really it's like being addicted to a drug and never getting to really get
Get
high.
high.
I
Yeah.
guess like the act is the high.
Right, right,
I mean,
right, right.
when you talk to gambling addicts, the act of gambling is the high. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter if they win or lose.
yeah.
But he has this dream of getting out from under, that kind of originates with this idea to become a boxing promoter, or no, it's a wrestling promoter. He wants to be a
The
wrestling
first one,
promoter
yeah,
in
yeah.
the 50 version, and then in the 92 version, Harry Fabian is a boxing promoter. But he's just constantly borrowing from one party against another party, and then kind of double cross. There's shades of Yojimbo and
Yes.
Fistful of Dollars here,
Mhm.
and of course, there's no way for the story to end but in calamity.
Yeah. It is a great noir for sure.
Yes.
50 version, I had a great time watching it. I definitely, I feel like I think everyone's probably met that kind of guy that's like that, the main
Hmm.
character Fabian, where this guy, the 50s version, he was not so much a gambler. He was a gambler, but it's more like, he was a wannabe. Like he wanted to be somebody, he had aspirations, but he didn't want to work a job. He wanted to take like, he thought, hustling was like the job, he's
Hmm.
got to talk this guy out of getting some cash and then borrowing from this person. Then like, he's got a reputation where, uh, you know, people already know he's like a scummy guy because he's been doing this in the same like city forever, and tons of bars, tons of little companies or stores and things like that. Um, and eventually it catches up with him, and then I guess the De Niro one, he's making bets and
He's
doubling
a
up.
lawyer, though.
Yeah,
They try to
right,
give him
right.
they try to give him this additional, I don't know, this man of the people complexity, that he takes these unwinnable cases for the down and outs,
I love that.
and annoys the judges and the defense to such a degree that they just pay him to go away. They settle, and that's his racket in the
He's an
92
ambulance
version.
chaser type of lawyer. He's an
Yeah, yeah,
ambulance
he
chaser.
is for sure. He is for
Uh,
sure. And in fact, it literally, the opening shot is him running after an ambulance.
yeah, I love just like he's like a scummy guy in that way, like ambulance chasing lawyer, and the 50s version was like a scummy guy, like borrowing money from people and trying to scam people. And
Hmm.
Robert De Niro is also trying to scam people, and then in Uncut Gems he's like borrowing money to place bets, to win, and then put that money somewhere else and place more bets. It's just like, oh my god, all these I've been so like high end strong a little bit like all day. Um,
Yeah, it's a stressful triple feature, to be sure. I
yeah.
mean, there's a kind of a, I don't know, the 92 version. There's kind of a looseness to it where
Mhm.
and then maybe like the smooth jazziness of the soundtrack doesn't
Yeah,
help.
it's like doo-wop and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. There's the platters are on there, but also with De Niro's performance, it's a weird era for De Niro. I
Mm.
feel like it's post Goodfellas. I mean, it's obviously post a lot of the Scorsese work, and he hasn't gotten into like the sleepiness of latter day De Niro. It's kind of like a weird middle aged De Niro. Like he doesn't know, should I play it charming? Should I be sleazy? How likable do I want this character? So there's kind of a weird mushy quality to the 92 version, which is a shame because it's it's very handsomely photographed, by Tak Fujimoto, who's a great cinematographer. Did a lot of work with Jonathan Demme, did Silence of the Lambs,
Wow.
Something Wild. Really a great lenser, and it's got a great performance by Jessica Lange.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Really happy to see Jessica Lange.
I recognized her from, my wife and I saw like the first season of American Horror Story, and she's like a main character in the whole entire show. And I was like, oh yeah, that lady. And she's like really great, and it's really cool to see her, younger. And I'm not too familiar with her past roles, but she was always like a highlight of the show. That
Well, I would recommend you watch season 2, because season 2 I
okay.
think is a little bit stronger than season 1. I like
I did. I think I did see season 2.
Season 2 is hella good.
I think is that the
It is.
penitentiary one?
Yeah, this is the asylum.
Asylum.
One.
Yeah. That was fun.
She's got a cool New England accent in that one. Very, I don't know. It's also fun when they'll do flashbacks to her past when she's like kind of a boozing broad in the 40s, but like they don't make any attempt to make her any younger. So it's like she's this older lady smoothing up on.
She looks great in the show though. I'm like, man, I bet she was a really good looking younger lady, and
well,
she is.
Lo and behold, Jessica Lange is a handsome woman.
Yeah. But back to De Niro's performance. I
Yes.
really enjoyed his performance. I thought he nailed like the character. I'm not sure what it's like in the novel, but it's like, geez, the first one he's like a smooth talking kind of guy. Not really so much smooth talking, but more like it's a little quick witted and able to respond and say the right things. With De Niro, he was like definitely more smooth and
yeah, I mean, I feel
New
like
Yorker. He's pure New Yorker.
I feel like with De Niro's performance, I will give him credit. I feel like you're a hair's breadth more charitable than I am with this, but I will give him credit. Like this guy cannot shut the fuck up, and he really fills up. I mean, I'm sure that guy had to memorize page after page of dialogue, because it's just this guy will not stop talking. And with I guess with both incarnations of Harry Fabian, there's this element of he just wears people down until they give him what he wants.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can see shades of this with the Howard Ratner character in Uncut Gems as well.
Yes, absolutely. And he's another fast talking guy that just doesn't stop.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my god, I just want this guy to. I don't even care anymore. I'll give him what he wants just so he goes away.
I know we haven't really like delved into even like the 1950s one, and I hate to jump ahead, but to the De Niro one. But it's like, how'd you feel about the ending? I feel like it was a studio pushback, not a director's choice, and maybe or maybe it tested bad with audiences, and like, oh, that main character dies, we can't let that happen. Put him in an ambulance and set him off. They're going to witness protection now or something. It's like.
It's difficult to say, because Irwin Winkler, who directed the piece, had been a career producer for years and years and years. I mean, this is the guy that produced Rocky, so I feel like this guy is pretty accustomed to happy endings.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that Rocky isn't that happy of an ending, but I mean, he also produced all of the sequels, so
right. Wow.
I feel like there is something about the idea of a studio remake where they can't go as dark. And I mean, even by, noir standards, the 1950 Night in the City is pretty fucking grim. I mean, they devote considerable screen time to a scoreless wrestling match between an old guy and a young guy, and it's pretty fucking brutal, and it's pretty evenly handed. Like, the old guy gives the young guy a run for his money, but all you're hearing is just flesh and bone crunching against each other. These aren't like your matinee idol actors. I mean, these are beefy boys going at it.
Even in that like that first fake wrestling scene with the old man's son that ran the fake wrestling as opposed to his real Roman Greco style wrestling. He was mad at his son, or disappointed in his son, I should say. for doing this fantastical form of wrestling, which he thought is more uh, superior or in better light. But in that first fake wrestling match, you really heard those like punches and things like that, like it echoed throughout like the whole entire
Yeah.
like stadium room. And that was a great scene too with the ref. He's like crawling over them too. He's like getting stuck in the mix. And I took a screenshot of that, and I was going to use it, but it was a little too blurry for the Instagram. But
Yeah,
that
totally.
cracked me up.
I feel like the thing with this movie is it's so interesting too that it's about an American in London. It's about
Mhm.
someone who's a stranger in a strange land,
Yeah.
so to speak. And there's a very important quality of Harry Fabian as this outsider, uh, and it's something that's kind of, I feel like, is lacking in the De Niro version, where
Mhm.
this guy was probably born here,
Yeah.
and everyone knows him. Whereas with Richard Widmark, I mean, everyone's looking at this American like, buddy, what are you doing here? Like, this
Right.
is the guy that probably fucked up so bad in his home country he can't go back.
Yeah. 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 Good call.
But then you also have Gene Tierney, and Gene Tierney is an interesting presence in this
She is
because
gorgeous.
she
Yeah.
is so gorgeous, and
Mhm.
this is also, I think, of that weird time period where she was well, Gene Tierney suffered from manic depression, and
Oh, okay.
there's a number of pictures that they put her in, um, where the idea was, if we give her a role, she won't kill herself.
Wow. Hmm.
There's a couple of like, I think Laura and the other Otto Preminger picture that she did were kind of like these things of like, okay, we got to give Jean a job, otherwise we may not know her anymore.
Yeah, they just try to keep her working.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
How
yeah,
that?
but like, I feel like that kind of that fragility comes through in her
Oh
performance.
yeah, yeah,
She
absolutely.
seems pretty beaten down in this.
Yeah. Oh God. Those scenes where she was crying like broke my heart. Like, oh, I want things to work out for her so bad, and here comes this guy and like rummages through her room and takes the money,
Oh,
and
it's
she's like, "You're
horrible.
killing
It's a
me! You're
horrible
killing
scene.
me!"
It's a horrible
Uh,
scene to watch. It's devastating.
yeah, absolutely. Gosh, whatever. What happened to her? How things work out for her? Do you know?
You know what? I don't know, but I can find out really fast with
Hey, cool.
the miracle that
Of the
is
internet.
wikipedia.org. By the way, Jay, it's never too late to give to Wikipedia.
I knew you were gonna say that.
You know what, they need our dollars, our ducats.
Uh huh.
Um Married twice, eventually uh self-imposed exile in Texas.
Oh.
Uh, Died of emphysema, which is sad because I remember she saw herself in an early. She saw a screening of an early film of hers, and she thought that she sounded like Minnie Mouse.
Huh.
And she was so horrified by her voice, she just started chain smoking
Oh
to try
God.
to lower it,
Uh huh.
and
Wow.
just fried herself.
That sucks. But I mean, I was like, well, at least she didn't kill herself, but she kind of did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sad story.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's a comeback in there, but
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like an okay ending, I guess. As opposed to the other way she could have gone. But
we she gave a lot of people a lot of joy in the motion pictures that she gave us.
yeah. How old did it say when she passed away?
She
Was she
passed
like
away
that?
in 91.
Okay, she was an old biddy. That's good.
Yeah. So she was,
That's great.
yeah.
Good for her. She had a good life
Yeah.
then.
Yes. Absolutely.
Um,
And Widmark, what a
I was gonna
performance with
say,
this
I was gonna
guy.
say
This
him.
guy's so good.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, that dude. Do you know other stuff he was in? Apparently, he's
Oh
a
yeah. I mean,
fan favorite
I've seen Widmark in a lot of films. He's
Mhm.
really good as a heavy.
as a
He
heavy.
was actually a fun fact. He was my great grandfather's favorite actor, apparently, and apparently my great grandfather was a mean son of a bitch. So I feel like,
Wow.
but yeah. He's really he played a lot of really good sneering bad guys
Mm.
in pictures. There's a great, but like, he was really actually apparently a very sweet and gentle guy. There was a Sidney Poitier film where Sidney was the black doctor who has to treat a racist criminal, and Widmark plays the criminal, and in between takes, this movie, Widmark has to like spew all this, awful vitriol at Poitier, and calling him the N-word this and all
Oh wow.
these horrible things, and like in between takes, like apparently Widmark would be like, "I'm so sorry, I have, it's the script, it's not me, Sidney. I respect you so much." Da 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 da.
I hear he was apparently in the YouTube comments. He's like a really nice guy, and he helped out like a lot of people in Hollywood and knew up
Mm-hmm.
actors and people on the sets and kind of
Mm-hmm.
showed people what to do. And he was just really hospitable and a really stand up guy.
Yeah,
So that's nice to hear.
if you want to see a picture in which Richard Widmark plays a hero, highly recommend the Ilya Kazan film "Panic in the Streets," where he's a doctor trying to prevent a bubonic plague outbreak in New York City,
Mm.
and that might be a fun COVID viewing experience, or it
Yeah.
might not. I don't know, but that's a good one. That also features a very young Jack Palance as the villain in that one.
That's
But
awesome. Yeah, I'd like to
yeah,
see a young Jack
yeah,
Palance.
love
Cool.
Jack Palance. He's
I'm
great.
mainly familiar with him and Batman and City Slickers.
Oh yeah, well, you can see him as a very young
Classics.
man in Panic in the Streets. Ilya Kazan's a great director. Uh, you know, named names during the House of Un-American Activities Committee years, so not a good
Mm.
guy, but made some really wonderful pictures.
Wow. Um, I'm
But
trying to think.
Widmark in this in Night in the City is
Mhm.
so electric.
I'm trying to think who Windmark reminded me of, and I'm like, oh, that one dude that was in the Westworld TV show. But I was like looking through the cast, and I don't see his face. I'm like, maybe I'm not thinking Westworld. I mean, I'm trying to think of something else.
It might
But
not be. I mean, he was in a number of westerns.
oh, he was in this one guy I'm thinking of. Well, sorry, I'm gonna take a couple seconds and look up some stuff where I think he might be in. And let's see. Yes, he reminds me of Walton Goggins.
Oh, I love Goggins.
Yeah, just a little bit of Goggins, where I feel like he can play that line. Goggins can play good guys and bad guys, and I feel like this '50s character, I feel like Goggins could have played that role too, just as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see a recast Night in the City with Harry Fabian is a Southerner with big fake teeth, and
Yeah.
uh,
And some gospel songs in
oh
his back
yeah. I've
pocket.
been watching the
Righteous
new seasons
Gemstones.
of
Oh,
Gemstones.
it's
What
so good.
you're feeling it?
I think it's hilarious. I mean, I think for season one, I think it's just great off the bat. Season two, I think it lagged a little bit, and then it's picking up now. Uh, and I think it'll get better.
Yeah, I mean, we restarted from the jump, so we did all of season one to catch up to season two again,
Hmm.
and the first episode of season two I felt like was kind of like a tonal misstep or some such thing, because it's really kind of, that first one is really light on laughs, but the second one I thought was gangbusters. Especially when they come into that house with the fucking dead. I'm a sucker for a dead body reveal. I think, and if you can land the reveal of a dead body, and they certainly did. I think you're doing something right.
Jason Schwartzman. Yeah, that was really
Oh
funny.
yeah, Jason Schwartzman is the condescending New Yorker. It's so good.
I love how he's like talking shit to that random stranger who's walking, taking his dog for a walk. He's like does a line of coke, and then he's like trying to write or read a book or something like that. And this guy just starts asking him all these questions, like, "Get the fuck away from me!" He's like, "Get out, just leave me alone!" Like, go away.
I'm sorry, this conversation is really tedious.
And the guy's like, "You're rude." He's like,
I
"Okay,
hate. He's
whatever."
like,
But
I hate the fucking South. But yeah,
Yeah,
I liked him. I don't know if you saw the last episode, but there's a really good
yeah.
gag of a bunch of shots of uh Jody Hill as Levi, just slow motion frolicking as the balloons are dropping.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. That shows. I think is good, man. I think it's gonna get better
Yeah,
as episodes go along.
I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, that's Goggins is great in that, and it all leads us back to Widmark in 1950, Night in the City.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm trying to think of who else would be a good. I guess that's more of the end of the night discussion, and
Yeah. We got to stay
yeah,
on
we
track.
got
I
some
mean,
time.
the casting around
Mhm.
Widmark, I think, is really strong.
Yes,
All of
absolutely.
the incidental characters, everyone's face is so good. Like that one, the Sydney Greenstreet looking motherfucker who's just this like kind of like bloated corpse of a gangster who like looks like someone you pulled out of a bog.
Yeah, he
Uh,
was the one that was dating the
the yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of as well. Before you said that, when he said that the cast of characters around him, that guy's presence and his voice was so good.
It's just
Um,
really unsettling. It's just really an unpleasant person to look at and listen to, and I guess that's why he's a good actor.
yeah, for sure. Uh, and I really like both of them, and I liked how the newer one with De Niro really like changed things just a certain way. And there's of course you have the same similarities, certain things. It's just I think it's a good remake, but yeah, man, that 50s cast was fantastic, and it looked great. Everything was shot fantastic. Like when he's being like chased and hunted towards the end of the film, he's like running, and you have like lights, and it's all dark, and you see like a silhouette running, and
Mhm.
it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the Third Man, the Joseph Cotton, Carol Reed adaptation of the Graham Greene novel, and I think about like the way that they used bombed out Vienna in the aftermath of the war
Mm,
to like there's reams and reams and website after website devoted to like this idea of like the location is a character, but like in these films it really does feel like it like post-war London is such a particular vibe,
yeah.
and post-war Vienna is such a particular vibe, and it's like these are part of like the traumas of the 20th century, and where noir comes from. So I think in that regard it's super important.
I like all the different stores he's trying to hit up for money. I mean, of course, there's um, the bar, the Silver Fox, where he gets a loan from the guy, and then of course the girl kind of swindles him by yelling at him, saying, "How dare you ask my boyfriend or husband or whatever for money?" And yeah, if you get that half of it, he'll double it. And the guy just falls for it. He's like, yeah, yeah, that sounds. I'd double it absolutely. And then same thing with De Niro. I'll double the money. Um, and then I was thinking of all the stores he was like running through. He had the like silk leggings or something, a stockings lady.
The VCRs.
Yeah, then De Niro, there's the VCR guy, the sports equipment guy with all the boxing gloves and
Mhm.
the samurai swords and things like that. It's so funny how both of them had like all these different like stores and places they'd hit up or different bar locations. Yeah, I enjoyed
Again,
that.
the with regard to the 92 Night in the City, like the cinematography by Tak Fujimoto, I don't think can be underestimated. Like the when they're in the nightclub and it's that bright red and blue lighting, it predates the bisexual lighting craze that we're in right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was totally proto bisexual lighting. Yes, I think that each time I see red and blue like that, or purple and red,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that is
feel
funny.
like again, like, but there's these moments in it where De Niro, he doesn't quite, in my estimation, convey the mania and the stakes
Mhm.
that are there for the character. Like it kind of feels like he gets into this thing as a lark,
Yeah.
And like, when they go to like to check out the dance hall where the boxing match is going to be held, he's like dancing around, and it's like it feels like this is like I don't know, it feels like there's not really anything to be taken seriously. Even when he gets shot, he's like making jokes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if like, maybe if it's funny that they chose to make him a lawyer, which is funny, a scumbag lawyer. That's great. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of almost parallel with like a grifter kind of shisty guy
Hmm.
as of the first, the 50s one. But it's like, yeah, how I think that's kind of held him back, as a character to play. Like I guess what would be a better profession? I think it would be just like the first one. I think you should have just made him like
Well,
a guy that doesn't have a job.
well, in the novel, he's a pimp.
Okay, okay,
Hmm. I
yeah,
mean,
that'd be cool.
yeah, I think it's funny. All right, try this conspiracy theory on for size.
Okay, cool.
All right, the very very young Safdie brothers
Hmm.
see Night in the City, the 1950 uh, Jules Dassin directed Richard Widmark vehicle, and they think, "Oh my God, this is incredible! I bet the 1992 remake of this movie is even better." And they're watching it, and then in that opening scene when the guy attacks De Niro in the bar, he keeps calling him a Jew.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if you remember that. You Jew
yeah,
motherfucker, da
yeah.
da
That's
da
a
da
that's
da.
like the first line said in the movie. Yeah, he
And then
tackles him and says that. Yeah.
De Niro goes, "I'm not even Jewish." And the Safdie brothers look at each other and go, "Ah, but what if he was?"
Right.
Cut to
That's
Uncut Gems.
page one of the script. It's like
Yeah,
Uncut Gems. We got
there
a
we go.
Jewish. Who's a new Jewish guy? Adam Sandler. Let's get Adam Sandler. Yeah,
I saw.
absolutely.
I remember looking at the original. I mean, because they had been sitting on the script for Uncut Gems for years and years and years, and they've been trying to get it made, and in a multitude of different ways. And I saw an early deck that they were shopping around, and they really wanted Benicio del Toro
Oh, cool.
for Howard Ratner.
That would have been cool.
I mean, I think Sandler kills it. I think
I
Sandler's
think so
great.
too.
That energy is so weird, and Sandler has such an odd kind of movie star charisma. But I think I just rewatched Snatch, and there's a lot of Jewish accents going on that
Mm.
Benicio pulls off in that picture. So
Yeah, yeah. I just really feel like Adam Sandler really nails that like trashy jewelry guy kind of aesthetic. He's just I think better for the role than Benicio. I don't think Benicio could have played a slimy kind of jewelry guy like that. He would have been different. He
it would
I
have
think
been
he
different. I mean, the
yeah.
thing is, like, the picture at the time, I remember there were weird accusations of anti-Semitism
Mm.
about the movie,
About which one?
but
Uncut Gems?
about Uncut Gems,
Okay.
yeah, and which is odd
Yeah.
because both Safdie brothers are Jewish,
Right.
although it'd be
Yeah.
odd if only one of them was Jewish and the other wasn't.
That'd be pretty
But
funny.
both those guys are Jewish, and you know, as a Jewish person myself, I can say, like, I know that guy. Like, that guy exists. Like, if you go to, like, certain, the extended family, Passover dinners, it's like the weird cousin, or it's like, oh, that's like the guy that your aunt married, and this is like her third marriage, and you're kind of like, I don't know why she's married to this guy, and like you just pray like you're not going to get stuck in a room with this character because he's just going to, like, do his fucking thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think it's an archetype that transcends culture. I don't think that, like, only Jewish people have this character that exists in their lives, but I do think that, like, the accusations of anti-Semitism are unfounded.
Yeah, yeah. Um, gosh, I was trying to think of the let me close my Righteous Gemstones thing there. um, uh, yeah, I really wish De Niro's character wouldn't have been a lawyer because I think he just would have been great if he would have played the same kind of role as a '50s one.
I think it's the same thing as like it's an extension of the problem with the ending. Like they wanted to kind
Yeah,
of soften the edges on this
yeah,
story about a guy that's really not that great.
right.
They wanted it to not have the bite. And
Yes,
you're talking about Night in the City. We're talking about real noir. Like we're talking
yeah.
about bite.
The way Night in the City '50s ended, you know, I definitely expected him to die, but I thought he was going to get shot. But instead, he gets punched out and thrown in the river.
Yeah,
And it's
I thought he
like,
crushes. I thought
did he?
what's the wrestler's nickname? He's like the monster, the mangler, or
Yeah,
something.
but the old guy was the one that gave him a bear hug. This guy didn't even know the bear hug until he got squeezed and knocked out. So it's like
Yeah,
the mangler. Yeah,
the mangler, the strangler.
the strangler was it the strangler or the mangler? I think you're right. I think it's a strangler. Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, is he dead or is he just in the water? Is he floating there
Yeah,
like, ow? I don't think that would kill you. But and then with De Niro, I'm like, oh, there he goes. He got shot. And I'm like, okay. And I thought it was going to end with, the pans out and looks up at her face and she's like sad. And, it goes to black. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. The end. And it comes back in, fades back in. And it's like, oh, I'm on the name of this chair. And you know what? We should probably go and move to the other guy. Where you going? And, we should change our names. And it's
yeah.
like,
He
man,
said the
this guy
last
doesn't
line in the
stop.
movie. The last line in the movie, he goes like, "Getting involved with boxing. What was I thinking?"
Yeah,
I was just
so
like, "Well."
silly.
It's
God.
just like, damn, you're like just completely deflating the dramatic tension of this picture.
Yes. God. I
Although I will say, when De Niro does that performance in the alleyway for the two thugs, where he's pantomiming over it, I was like, oh yeah, that's Robert De Niro acting again.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And that was the perfect, I think, role for the character too. How he would have acted. It's like, hey, I tried my best at this, and I was like, oh, come on, you're like my father. Don't die on me. He's like doing this reenacting to these guys. It's like I'm doing your job for you. And he's like, oh, and this money, look, it means nothing, and throws it in the air. And he's like, get out of my way, assholes. And he takes the girl. He's like, it's like, how'd I do? Did I do okay? Did they buy it? And then he gets shot. Uh, but yeah, I thought that was great, man. If it would have just ended there, I think it would have been a much better like overall film. But once again, I think it's like it could have been, the director's choice. But I really feel like it was a studio pushback. I think they're like, you can't kill De Niro. He's the and also, Raging Bull. Earlier when he walks into the boxing ring for the first time or the gym, he's like, oh yeah, he says that line. It's like, I used to do this myself earlier in my day. It's like, yes, Raging Bull is fantastic. And later on, he was like, this is pretty fantastic. I never stepped foot in a place like this before. I was like, oh, okay, well, but
Winkler was also a producer on Raging Bull.
wow, cool, very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it made me want to see Raging Bull again because
I
I
mean,
love boxing movies and yeah.
oh, okay. Have you ever seen The Setup?
I've never seen the setup. No.
You got to see The Setup. The Setup is a great boxing picture. It stars Robert Ryan, and it's all in real time.
Whoa.
I think it's really short. I think it's like only like 55, 65 minutes, but it's
Okay.
really good. The
Wow.
setup is a really good boxing picture.
Is it all like one shot or no?
No, it's not all one shot, but it
Okay.
basically takes place over like in real time.
Okay. Interesting. That's really
Uh,
cool.
yeah. Um, so we have 1950 England, 1992 New York, and then
Then New York.
2013 New York.
Yeah, yeah. I'd guess that. That sounds about right
Well,
because
because
I mean Kevin Garnett in the playoffs and
yeah, because because the film was released in 2019, but it's a period piece, which
yeah,
I like.
yeah.
Kevin Garnett's great in it too.
Yeah, yeah. He acted well.
Yeah,
And
and then
that
that
one
film
dude.
too also has an amazing cinematographer too. It's Darius Kanji is the DP on Uncut Gems, and I don't know if you've gotten to the scene with the Weeknd in the club, but
Yeah, that's hilarious.
the lighting in that scene is so fucking good,
For
and the
sure.
way that they use Lakeith
The
Stanfield's
orange
the orange
fluorescent.
hoodie is
Yeah,
as a bounce board is so fucking dope.
no doubt. Yeah,
He's
for
great
sure.
though. I love Lakeith. Every time
Yeah,
that guy
he's
crops up in something, he steals the fucking show.
yeah, I'm always like, oh, that guy, he's fantastic. Each time I see
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it'd be fun to start our fan theories now.
Yeah,
if
what? Yeah, where's the next Night in the City gonna be?
yeah, the
Where do you put it?
2022. God, I didn't even think of locations. I'd like to do Amsterdam. It's like a kind of a nice during the day, but you don't want to be there at nighttime. Yeah,
This is the
especially too
second
late.
time you've watched.
Did I say that?
You gotta make a movie in Amsterdam.
Did
I
I say it
think is
before? What
like.
did I say that before? For
I think it was Bad Lieutenant. I think you wanted to do a Bad
Oh
Lieutenant in
yeah,
Amsterdam.
yeah, that makes sense. Well, in that case, it's changed up then.
No, no, no. I mean, you can do it. You can do. I'm
No,
not.
no, no, I
I'm
don't. I
not
don't do it
Amsterdam
twice.
shaming you.
No, no, no. It's like, all right. So this New York. I mean, do you want to do L.A.? Or Miami? What about Miami during like the early '90s, late '80s, like cocaine cowboys type era, where
That's
it's just
cool.
like super. Everything's just insane in Miami. It's like the murder capital of the world. There's like drive-bys everywhere and weird cocaine deals
Yeah, I mean
happening.
the transition between Miami as sleepy retirement town and Murderville, USA is interesting. I mean, I if I were to do Night in the City,
Mhm.
I would maybe go set it in like January 2020, Wuhan, China.
Okay.
And Walton Goggins is the expat pimp, and
Yes.
he's got to figure out why everyone's getting sick around him.
I like to think of it as like, maybe he's doing all his bets and things like that, but like the you know, all the things that lead up, and how pretty much it's like Murphy's Law, like everything goes wrong for all these characters, even though like, I feel like most people are like trying to screw over each other in the first one too, or like everyone's like backstabbing or have like
Mhm.
some kind of second hand behind, a sleight of hand. But it'd be funny to, maybe in that setting have it where it's like something goes wrong at the end, or it creates the virus, or it releases it,
Damn, that's
and
so tight.
it's like not his fault, but it's like it just
It's his fault.
right
It's not his
somehow.
fault, but it's totally his fault.
It's like he topped the first domino that led to all this bullshit that
No,
like
he's like trying to, part of his scheme is like he's like selling bats or something. Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
so good. Yeah, damn.
that's
Damn,
funny.
Walton Goggins. I can't believe you created the coronavirus.
That sucks, man.
Shit, that really sucks. What a bummer. Wait,
Yeah.
we didn't talk about this fact. As charming as they try to make De Niro,
Mhm.
like he's still fucking his buddy's wife.
Yeah, yeah, just like the first one. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was
Oh
funny.
my god.
And yeah, I mean that guy too.
But he's always like, "Oh, we're friends." Da 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 da.
Oh yeah, he that what a dick move too. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll give them money. Tomorrow. Yeah, later on. And it's like, oh, I thought you were joking. It's like, oh, you motherfucker.
I know. Yeah.
What a shiesty
I
motherfucker.
mean, that's the thing with noir though is like everyone like there are no clean consciences.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's scheming on everyone else. Except for Gene Tierney, who is like
The
just
angel.
getting used. Yeah,
And her boyfriend that lives in the same building. That the nice guy from upstairs that she, borrowed money from in the beginning. Like right away when she went upstairs, I'm like, is that her boyfriend? I was like, what's going
it's
on
really
here?
fucked up. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's like like it. Noir is like this. The noir universe is this horrible void wherein no human connection is possible. There can be no communion
Yeah.
really in these movies.
Uh-huh.
No one really understands anyone. No one trusts anyone with good reason.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah, there's always like a lack of communication somehow, and
you
with
know.
these like hidden ulterior motives when it's like if they would just be like straight up with each other, like everyone would win. But it's like they just don't. Which is kind of frustrating, but uh
Well, it's
I'm trying
like,
to good.
oh, sorry, go on.
No, no. I was gonna think more of the insane setting of cocaine cowboys era a night in the city I like to think of just like a chaotic environment. So it's like that's like a time period where it's just like, insane. And I feel like it'd be a really good opportunity to have like a just your main uh, you know character just go from maybe one drug dealer to maybe like a jeweler to all these places doing his loans and borrowing and making deals. Maybe he's a friend with Escobar or something, or I guess Escobar's lieutenants or something. Yeah, there's a lot there, and you can mix it up with the uncut gems thing too, and might as well throw in some diamonds and shit in there. Like why not?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I still like the idea of Wuhan 2020 for Night in the City, because in addition to all of the interpersonal gangster machinations
Mhm.
and everyone screwing everyone else over, you have a bigger thing of like you know
People
people
dying in a
dropping
pandemic.
dead, and also all of a sudden like things are locking down. It's like, oh wait, what happened to my wrestling match? The venue closed, and like the guy, like the guy's about the guy, the guy that like has been threatening me all week, he's like, you can't breathe anymore.
Oh,
So like,
dude, no. What if all right, so you know how in the first one it was the gangster's dad was the wrestler, and the De Niro one, it was the gangster's older brother that was
mhm.
helping out De Niro. Maybe this one is another relative or something of the gangster. But instead, instead of like having a heart attack, whatever, he dies of COVID. He's the first one that like can't breathe and stuff, and he's like, oh, I need to keep that guy alive, and that's why they hunt him down, and then more people
Oh
start
my
dying.
god,
Like the gangsters start dying, like everyone starts dying, and he's like, is this the end of the world? Like, is everyone just gonna die? Like, what's happening? Yeah.
that's so good. And for whatever reason, he just never gets sick. Or
Yeah,
may
he's like
or
the cure.
maybe like
He's the cure, and they kill him.
maybe right before like it cuts to black, he like has one cough, and that's the end of the movie.
I was gonna say, like, he is like the one person that has the cure in his blood, but he ends up dying. He ends up getting killed and ruins the chance of a cure, and everyone dies. Like, yeah, that'd be fun.
I think I think back to the opening of Uncut Gems. If you recall, it's an Ethiopian diamond mine,
Yeah,
and the guy's being dragged out. His leg is mangled, and he's
brutal.
probably gonna, probably gonna die. Definitely gonna lose that leg. And then we transition to uh, going into the diamond. It transitions into Adam Sandler's colonoscopy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then we go into the drama of the playoff games, and his gambling and all that. And the Safdie brothers said something interesting about how it was important for the film to start this way because they wanted to show how strange the human condition was, that um, a man's life can be determined by both a mining accident and the outcome of a basketball game. I think that there's something poignant in that.
Sure. Yeah. It's the absurdity of life. The unknowable, and that can happen with any large or small situation can have the same outcome.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, that's fun, dude. I guess we'll wrap it up. Um,
I guess.
Dude, I mean, I think we've definitely exhausted Night in the City. It was a great topic. I had fun watching them, even though it was stressful. And I love our fan theories and fan made sequels. I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
I just started thinking about we do all these contemporary things, or we think about doing period pieces, but we haven't
Mhm,
done like, what, hear me out. Night in the City
mhm.
30,000 years in the future. Night in the City 2, Pig in the City.
And it's a pig in the future, yeah.
It's a pig in the future, when humans and pigs have finally meshed their DNA.
Oh no!
And
Feels
like
lamb.
all the what is Night in the City for a pig in the year 3049?
Yeah, the pig in New York City on Mars, and the pig is a pimp and as sometimes detective and a private eye, if you will.
But he really likes space boxing, and they call it space boxing.
Yeah, and you have like giant inflatable gloves. They're like
You got holographic gloves that protect your hands from being broken.
Yeah, and so you can't actually get physically injured. It's just digital damage.
Mm-hmm.
and each time you get punched, you lose like crypto coins. They pop out of you.
Yeah, he's also a crypto bling seller.
Yeah,
You buy NFTs of bling.
Yeah,
and bet on
NFT dealer. Yeah,
yeah. Damn, that's so sick.
I love it.
Yeah, we cracked it. We figured out how to do Night in the City in the future. I'm proud of us. Every time we do this, I always wonder how we're going to top our previous remake, and we always manage to
somehow. Yeah. I invited John last week. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but I want to continue inviting people when we do this. I'm going to reach out to Spencer, I think, next, and
cool.
hopefully he'll reach back. But what do you think we should do next week or two? Do you want to do next week?
What is the next one? He wonders out loud. We could do Dracula's.
That's fun. Okay.
We could do the Bela Lugosi version. What's interesting is while they were shooting the Bela Lugosi Dracula, simultaneously they used the same exact sets and shot a Spanish language version.
Interesting. Wow, how'd they pull that off?
I think the Spanish language version shot at night.
Oh, like the same day?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so
they
had this different cast and crew, but they did the whole thing in Spanish.
That's pretty smart to do if you're like the company doing both. It's like, we have the whole set, just do both, and we'll time it out and schedule it. Like that's impressive.
Yeah, no, it's rad. So we could do Dracula and then build up to the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola, Bram Stoker's.
Okay, yeah, sure. Did you want to throw a vampire in there?
Yeah, we could throw well, Vampire isn't really a Dracula remake. Yeah. We could do Nosferatu. Oh, you know what we could do? We could do. Damn, this is so crazy. We could do Nosferatu. This is a quadruple feature.
Whoa, okay.
This might be too crazy. TBD, but we could do Nosferatu, which is the first one, which is I want to say 22. Then it's either 1919 or 1922, and because it's called Nosferatu because the Bram Stoker estate sued Murnau and the German film company for making a Dracula movie without permission.
Whoa.
And then we could do the 31 Dracula with Bela Lugosi. Then we could do the 79 Werner Herzog directed remake of Nosferatu.
Cool.
And then we could do the Francis Ford Coppola Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Sweet. Yeah. God damn. Okay.
That might be too. It might be too crazy. We don't have to do it. It might be. We don't have to go.
The heart is willing.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
I'm so stuck at work where I'm working like 11 and 12-hour days.
No, totally.
It's gonna be like that for months because I have too much work to do. And I can't escape it. So when I come home at night, there's only so much time. And but it is possible. It is possible. So
what we could also do if it's easier, we could do the 1959 or 1960 French New Wave classic Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard and the 1984 remake by Jim McBride with Richard Gere.
Sounds cool. Let's do that.
All right, we're gonna do Breathless next.
Breathless. I know nothing about it, and I'm excited. That sounds awesome.
Oh, the original is a fucking masterpiece.
All right, cool.
It's great. It really kind of. It's impossible to look at a lot of contemporary film language
Mhm.
without seeing the influence of this movie, even though it was like, a small French film. It was the first narrative feature that had extensive use of jump cuts, very strange sound design, very, very, very experimental and very poppy. But and then the remake has Richard Gere.
Is the original on Criterion or
Yeah, it is. I
okay.
mean, the Criterion Collection did put out the 1960 version.
Yeah, I should have checked for Night in the City on the Criterion app instead of like YouTube. And so, but like, I'm looking forward to looking through the Criterion app and seeing the, additional stuff that's in there, commentaries and things like that. Well, I'll probably revisit this week.
Hmm.
Um, it that might be a thing that we do maybe in the future to have a segment to revisit the prior week of further research or things like that. So there's so many times where I've wanted to talk about past stuff that we finished talking about, but like I watched more of later on. All right, cool. So it's called Senseless,
Breathless.
Breathless. I think
Yes.
Senseless was Damon Wayans and David Spade.
We could throw
Or
that one
Marlon.
in there too.
I think it's Marlon
Fuck
Wayans
it.
actually. I think it's Marlon Wayans. And
Why
David
not?
Spade, yeah.
Let's get all senseless, breathless. It's all
It's
the
all the
same,
same. Yeah.
man.
Cool. Yeah.
If I've learned one thing from remake, reboot, recycle, it's
It's
all
all
the
the
same.
same. Beautiful. All right, Mike. Thank you so much, man. Where can the people find you, and what are you
You
working
can
on?
find me on the social media platform of your choice. And by that I mean Instagram or Twitter, although I'm not really
No
active on
TikTok.
Twitter still. I'm not a TikToker. But Instagram at Mike Heresy.
Mhm.
Um, post a lot of amateur film history, facts and photos.
It's one of the most interesting Instagram accounts out there. So please follow Mike.
That's right, it is.
It is. It's true. All right, man. Well, thank you again, Mike. Thank you to our sponsors at Famra. We are kicking it in the Halloween bridge. Download the Famra app for free, please. It is great. It's a fun hangout session, and you can watch us there live as well as here on YouTube. So we'll see you all next week with
Goodbye, everyone.
Breathless.
Breathless.
All right, later, y'all.
Later.